Hey everybody, Martin here, and today I'm going to be doing a very quick playthrough of my retheme of an existing game. So the name of this retheme is called The Spy Who Came In From the Cold. You can probably see it there on the card back. The Spy Who Came In From the Cold is actually a classic spy novel written by John le Carré in the 1950s or 60s, I want to say. And this is my retheme of an existing game called Lord of the Rings, the Adventure Deck Game. Now, the original game was designed in 2011 and released by a gentleman named Michel S. Manek. And this is a free print and play game. And I've actually rethemed this once before. 5 or 6 years ago, I rethemed it to Watchmen, which is a favorite graphic novel of mine. But this time around, recently, I decided, you know what, I want to take another shot at retheming this game. And I want to try to do an espionage or spy retheme, Spy Who Came In From the Cold. So basically, you've got these 54 cards here in this deck, and that represents the story of Alec Lemus, who is the spy, the titular spy who came in from the cold. And let's just show you the Mission Begins card here. So we'll go ahead and read that. It says, Mission Begins, Berlin, 1961. Control's voice cuts through the Berlin fog. One last job, Alec. Make them believe you've turned. Get close to Munt. The girl at the library doesn't know that she's already part of the game. None of them ever do. And this is Control. This is the person in British intelligence who handles Alec as a spy. So that starts your adventure, and we'll put that here in this discard pile here. And then this face down card here represents the end of the mission. So we're not going to take a look at that right now. And then super quick, so this player board here kind of represents certain information as you are working through this deck, working through the story to get to the mission end. So over here you have your cover track. Cover, which is from 1 to 10, indicates how secure your cover is as you are here in East Germany doing your very dangerous mission. Over here you have your suspicion track. Now, suspicion is kind of desperation moves that you can do if it is a very bad, if you find yourself in a tight spot, a bad situation, you can do desperate things like use some false papers, use some fake intel, burn another agent. All of these things will temporarily get suspicion off you in the near term, but they will also in the long term start to get the East German Secret Service, Secret Police more suspicious of you. So each time you use this, it helps you in the near term, but then it hurts you long term. And if you use it too much, you're going to get captured. Down here at the bottom, you have the turn track, and it's divided into light shaded spaces and dark shaded spaces, and it goes up to 25. So basically, light spaces are day phases, and dark shaded spaces are night spaces. You have 25 turns to be able to get to the end of this story. If you're not able to work through this deck within 25 turns, then you lose the game. If your cover reaches below 1, reaches 0, you lose the game. If your suspicion gets up all the way to this space here, you get captured, you lose the game. Those are the ways you can lose the game. One more thing I'll mention on the board here, you've got these kind of items, and each of these, you can encounter them and acquire them as you're working through the deck here, and then each of them is going to give you some type of benefit, which I have kind of put a label here on the thing itself. So I won't read everything here, but I'll read a couple. So cover story is something that you can acquire. And what this does is the effect of cover story, if you acquire this, is it reduces total heat value. So heat is, basically like the pressure, the suspicion, the tension, the anxiety, all of those things that are happening as you are this agent behind enemy lines, right? So this cover story is going to reduce total heat value that you acquire on each turn by 1 point. We'll show you that as we play. And this is the only item that you can reuse. So if you get this, it's a powerful item. It's hard to get, but it's a powerful item if you're able to get it because it reduces all heat by 1. So that's kind of cool. Over here, we have exfiltration. Everything else over here, by the way, every other item aside from cover story is one-time use only, and then you have to discard. So exfiltration, this item here, if you get it, it restores full cover points as you draw cards. You can only use this one time and discard. So that's a very powerful item, but it's a one single use only item. All right, so that's all of the explanation that I've given you for the player board, the information on it, the tracks on it, the items on it. We got our tokens here to keep track of things. Last thing I'll mention is we have this handy dandy player aid card that shows you quick setup, win-lose conditions, your turn sequence, how recovery works, which I'll explain in a bit. The emergency protocol, that's the suspicion track over here, these desperate things you can do, and then some reminders. So we'll be using this to guide our play as we work through. Okay, so that is kind of the explanation, the overview of the game. Now let's get started to play. So the first thing we do according to turn sequence is choose the approach. So the approach is this icon over here, which gives you 3 directions, left, up, and right. And inside each one of these is a number. And so basically you get to choose which direction you're going to go, which will tell you how many cards you're going to draw. Now in this retheme, direction is called approaches. You can have going left as a cautious approach, going up is a standard approach, and then going right is an aggressive approach, to kind of be thematic and mirror like your choices as a spy. How are you going to address, or how are you going to approach each situation? So here from the start, with Control sending us on our mission, why don't we go for an aggressive approach? So that's going to the right. We draw 3 cards. Oh, by the way, to start the game, I have to put the whole 54 card deck here, and it's already been shuffled. So if we choose the aggressive approach, then we are going to go to the right, which means we're going to draw and resolve 3 cards. So we're going to draw these 3 cards one by one. We're going to count the heat value, but we're only going to resolve the effect on the final card we draw. So here we go. First card we draw, it says Fiedler. Fiedler is the deputy of the guy that we're tasked to get close to. So he says the deputy's trust. So it says the effect of this card is remove all suspicion tokens, but we're not going to resolve it because it's not the last card we're drawing in this particular turn. There's a little bit of flavor text. We're not going to look at it. So right now, if this is not the last card, the only thing that we're looking at and concerned with is this number right here on the left side of the card. That's the heat value. So right now, in our approach, as we meet Fiedler, we get a heat value of 2. So that's what's happening. We'll draw our second card. Harsh interrogation. After meeting Fiedler, we ended up in a harsh interrogation, and our heat is now 1 for this one, plus 2. So our running total of heat right now is 3, which is not great. And we have 1 more card to draw. All right, emergency abort. Okay, this is a good thing. Basically the story so far, we met Fiedler, we got put in jail and got a harsh interrogation by the East German Secret Service, Secret Police, and we were given an emergency abort order, which is kind of weird getting an abort order so soon in our mission, but what are you going to do? So what we're looking at first of all is based on our turn sequence here. We choose the approach, we've done that. We draw cards one by one, we've done that. We total up the heat to get our threat level for this turn. And our threat level this turn is 2 plus 1 plus 1 is 4. So that is our current threat. And what we do with that is reduce cover by the amount of threat, right? So we're going to take this cover token over here, and we're going to reduce it by 4. So we start at 10, 1, 2, 3, 4. We're down to 6. Okay, and then, according to this turn sequence, the next thing we do is apply final card effect. All right, apply final card effect. So the final card's effect is actually really cool. Place a token on the abort signal space on the playmat. All right, so we're going to grab a token here, and we'll place it on abort signal, which means we have this item now in our inventory. It says to stop drawing cards when you want, use one time, and then discard. So when we choose to use this later on, we have the ability to stop drawing cards even if we haven't completed the card draws yet. So that's kind of a cool power. Okay, and then let's take a look. The last thing we do after final card effect is recovery. So let me explain recovery, how recovery works. If your turn ends on a light colored space, so we're in turn 1, so it's a light colored space, then you don't do automatic recovery. You can, however, force recovery if you want to, but it's going to cost you a turn. So that's how that works. Now, if you end your turn on a night space, like if we were on turn 2, you do automatic recovery. You regain all of your cover. But we're on a day space right now, so our cover is down to 6. All right, so we have done everything that we need to do on this turn. On our first turn, then we advance the turn +1. If we had done a lay low, that's what the recovery is, the non-automatic recovery on a day, we would have advanced it by 2, but we didn't do that, so we're only going to advance our turn marker by 1. So there we go, we're on turn 2, and these 3 cards will now go face up into the discard deck, and then the approach meter here on the top card now becomes our next set of choices. So this is how that works. We've just completed one turn, and now we're going to move on to the second turn, where the first thing we're going to do in the second turn is we're going to choose an approach. So our choices are cautious, flip 1 card, standard, flip 3, or, let me bring this closer to you, or aggressive, flip 5 cards. So that's pretty dangerous, because if we decide to go aggressive here and our cover is down to 6, then we would potentially, we could be unlucky and get 3 heat per card, 3, 6, 9, or even 3, 3, 2. Anyway, because our cover is low, is down to 6, that's a high probability that if we go aggressive here, then we will probably lose all of our cover. However, we do have this handy dandy item here that says we can stop drawing cards when we want. So that gives us a little bit of control and agency over this next turn. Obviously, I want to get through as many of the cards as possible in the deck in as few turns as possible, because that's how you win this game. But you also don't want to be so aggressive that you get yourself in a tight spot. Also, the other thing I want to consider is we're on a night phase right now. So if we manage to survive this, we're going to get full cover back. So how do I want to play this right now? You know what? I'm going to live dangerously. I'm going to go aggressive. We're going to draw 5 cards. Whew, that's crazy. Does that make sense? No, we're going to draw 3 cards. We'll do standard approach. We'll draw 3 cards. Okay, here we go. So let us draw cards one by one. First card is Blackout Protocol, radio silence from London. We're looking at a 3 heat. So already not great. This is not great at all. Potentially, if the next card we draw is another 3 heat, then we could be dead, because we only have 6. So that is a real danger. So, wow, okay. I am going to use the abort signal. Yeah, that's right. I'm going to use the abort signal that we just got, which means I'm going to stop drawing cards. I'm not going to draw the total of 3 that I had chosen. I'm going to stop drawing cards right now, and stop here. This becomes my final card for the turn. This is the one I'm going to resolve. This is tense, folks. Okay, so we've done our choose approach. We've done our draw cards one by one. The sum of our heat currently is 3. So then we're going to reduce our cover by that number. So from 6, 1, 2, 3, we go down to 3 cover. So we're not great. Our cover is not doing very well. But we do get a effect here. The effect of this card is if we choose standard or aggressive, we will draw cards face down and see only the destination, because we're on radio silence, we're on blackout now from London, which means we don't have our intel. So that's not great either. So maybe we shouldn't pick standard or aggressive for this next turn. Okay, but anyway, we'll put that down there for now. And where are we at? So we have reduced cover by threat. We're going to apply the final card effect. Recovery if available. So the good thing is we're ending this particular turn on a night space, which means our cover is now going to go right back up. So at night, the background here is that the cover track in the original game is the health track. So that kind of makes a little more thematic sense, because if you end your space at night, you get to rest, and then your health goes all the way back up. I don't know how resting will replenish an agent's cover, resting alone rather, but we're going to go with it, okay? So our cover gets boosted back up all the way to 10, so because we ended on a night space. And then what do? Apply the final card effect, recovery, and then advance the turn. Okay, so we're going to advance the turn to 3, and then we're going to apply this effect here. If we choose the standard or aggressive approach, we're going to draw cards face down, and we're going to only see our destination, which is very, very tense. However, we are at maximum cover. So, and we have no items. So there's a good chance, good probability that we might survive this if we choose a standard is 1 and aggressive is 2. Now, if we go cautious, we'll have to draw 3 cards, but we'll draw them face up. So I think we'll go cautious. Okay, we'll draw 3 cards. Here we go. This one is control. And we look at his heat, it's 1. And then the effect is, well, we're not going to resolve the effect, but the effect is remove 1 suspicion token. Okay, so that's kind of cool, especially if we get him later on and we have tokens on the suspicion track. So heat so far is 1. We're drawing our second card of 3. Okay, surveillance zone, and the heat value is 0, which is very, very good. So far we've only got total heat of 1 on this turn. And finally we'll draw a third card. Whew, oh boy, okay. This one is a heat of 3. Safe passage protocol. So our total heat this turn is 4. So we'll reduce our cover by 4. We go back down to 6. We're going to resolve the effect of the final card. If we choose standard up, we will ignore the next card's effect. If we choose standard or up, we can ignore the next card's effect. Standard or up is a 2-card draw. The other options here on this one are a 4 and a 3. 4 for cautious, 3 for aggressive. Okay. Yeah, that's not great. Okay, anyway, we'll see about that. So we've reduced our cover. We're ending on a day space, so we don't have automatic cover recovery. We're applying the final card effect, and we're going to advance the turn. Okay, so we are going to advance to turn 4. If we choose standard or up, we will ignore the next card's effect. Now, I'm going to interpret this rule by saying the next final card that we land on. And you know, it's kind of attractive because the standard or up approach will only draw 2 cards. If we choose anything other than standard or up, we're going to be drawing 4 or 3 cards, and our cover value is only 6, and we have no items to help us. So you know what? I think we're actually going to choose the standard approach and go up. So we're going to draw 2 cards, and let's see how we go. We are now in turn 4. We're going to end on a night space, which means automatic cover recovery. So assuming we survive this turn, we're going to get all our cover back. So let's see how it goes. We are choosing 2 cards. This one is called the wiretap. And so it's a bar where the bartender is giving us some sort of helpful item. And cover value is 1. It's too bad we're not ending here because this is actually a nice item, but we're not going to get it because it's not the last card. We are getting Stasi Agent. Okay. This is good, actually. This is really, really good because cover heat is 0. So we're only going to lose 1 heat on this turn. Now, normally, if we had to resolve the Stasi Agent's effect, we would add 1 suspicion token, which is not good. But because our previous action was ignore the next card's effect, we will just ignore this suspicion. So we encountered a Stasi agent, but we had a tense encounter, but they're not, we slip past them. Okay, so that's that. So we're not going to add a suspicion token. We're going to lose 1 heat. So we go down to 5, but we are ending on a night space, so we get automatic recovery. So we get all the way back up to 10, which is great, and then we'll advance to turn 5. Okay, let's do a couple more turns to show you how this works. So our next choice is we have to choose either left, up, or right. And we have full cover here. So I'm going to go aggressive here. I'm going to choose right. I'm going to draw 3 cards. So let's see, because this could be bad, even though we're at full cover. This could be bad, and we're ending on a day space this turn, which means no automatic recovery. So first card to draw, it is Peters. He's our MI6 contact, and we get 1 heat for meeting with Peters in East Germany. Second card is a 2 heat. It's a communist cell. So Limas is trying to infiltrate the communist cell. He's pretending to be a disgruntled British agent. So getting close to the communists is something that is part of his mission. So far we've got a heat of 3. And then finally, double agent. Oh boy, okay, this is bad. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. So first of all, total heat for this turn is 4. So from 10, we go back down to 6 once again. Now we have to resolve this action here. Mandatory, move back 3 cards, resolve destination normally, no heat. Okay, so we have to do this right now. We have to move back 3 cards and then resolve the destination normally, no heat. So, crap. So this means all these 3 cards go back. 1, 2, 3. We don't resolve any heat, but we'll have to resolve the destination. Okay, so we go back here, and I guess these go back on top here. That's how I'm choosing to resolve that. And then this says, after viewing the next card, you may ignore its effect, but still add heat. Okay. All right, that's what we'll do. So we'll keep Peters over there, and then we'll use his effect for the next one. Okay, we're ending on a day space, so we don't have any automatic cover recovery. We're going to move up to turn 6, a night phase, and then we're going to choose our approach from Peters' card. Our choices are 1, 2, or 3. We have cover of 6, and we have the ability to ignore the effect but still add heat. Okay, so we'll choose, you know what, we'll choose 3. We'll choose 3 and see how it goes. We're going to roll the dice here. We are hoping for low heat values, and this is a high heat value. 1, that's 2, sorry. 3, and then 1 more card. Oh boy, so that's 2 plus 2 is 4 plus 1 is 5. We have 6 cover. It goes down to 1. Our cover is teetering on the brink. We're nearly blown. But, oh wow, this is incredible. We have the chance to acquire the cover story. If we choose the standard approach, which is a 5, we'll place the token on cover story, which is one of the most powerful items in the playmat in the game. Cover story reduces all heat by 1 point every turn, and it is persistent. So this is really a good opportunity. It's also very challenging because you have to draw 5 cards to be able to choose that. So this is a cliffhanger, folks. Anyway, yep, we're down to 1 cover. We're nearly dead. That was a very risky move I did. However, we're ending on a night space, which means our cover is going to go right back up to 10, and we advance our turn marker by 1. And then, you know what? I'm going to go for it. I'm going to draw 5 cards and see if we survive enough heat to be able to actually acquire the cover story, because it's a very valuable item. So here we go. Cover story. 1, this is not a great start, folks. 2, Hoping for a 0 here, hoping for a 0. Nope. 3. I could be dead. 3. Oh boy. So that's total heat knight. 3. 6 plus 2 is 8. If I get 2 more, I'm dead. And I have 2 more cards to draw. That's it. My cover is blown. So 3, 6, 9 plus 2 is 11. I only have 10 cover, which means my cover is blown, and I have officially been imprisoned, been captured, probably killed here in this run of the spy who came in from the cold. So yeah, that is the official ending of this game, this particular session. And I hope that I was able to give you a quick kind of overview on this playthrough of how this game goes. It's a very light game. It's a quick story game. There's tension to be had here. There's kind of a little bit of strategy in terms of, you know, choosing which approach you're going to take based on how much cover you have, based on whether you're ending the turn on a day or night space. Are you going to get your cover back? The ability to have some equipment to kind of add some kind of game-changing actions available to you. And we didn't even get to use the suspicion track. Oh, you know what I hadn't been doing? This is actually on me. It's my bad. I'm pointing at myself right now. I should have been using suspicion, right? Like, for example, if I go back to my last card 5 cards ago, cover story, if I knew I was going to go aggressive, right? If I knew I was going to go aggressive and draw 5 cards, I should have used my suspicion, because before I start drawing those cards, I can say I'm going to use these false papers. And then when I do this, I could have ignored all the heat that I would have acquired during that card draw. So that's on me. That's my bad. I lost this game because I made a mistake. I misplayed. I made a boo-boo. Martin played it wrong. What are you going to do? But I hope that I have given you some sort of idea of how to play this game, The Spy Who Came In From the Cold, my free print and play retheme of an original game called The Lord of the Rings Adventure Deck game. Until next time, this has been Martin. Thanks for watching.